Episode 8, Serpent Mound lights over the Ancient Serpent. This is a place where stories stretch back more than 3,000 years. A place where the Adena and Hopewell peoples built their rituals on sacred ground. A place where the Great Serpent of the world below was honored, feared, and remembered. Tonight we walk the ridge where ancient cosmology, a prehistoric impact crater, and unexplained lights all converge. This is Serpent Mound, a landscape where earth, sky, and spirit meet. If you're watching on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, or TikTok, please like, subscribe, follow, and share this episode. Your support helps Road of Echoes grow and keeps these stories alive. Let's begin. Across Ohio, strange lights appear where the land remembers. And nowhere does the land remember more than the ridge of the Ancient Serpent, a place regarded as sacred ground for more than 3,000 years. Long before the effigy was shaped, long before the solstice alignments were carved into the earth, the people of this land told stories of a great serpent who ruled the world below. A being of water, stone, and sky, moving beneath the surface of the earth itself. This ridge carries that memory. It carries the stories, the ceremonies, and the reverence of cultures stretching back to 1000 BC. And tonight we follow the lights that move across its body. For more than a century, Ohioans have reported lights that move with purpose, approaching, retreating, pacing travelers, vanishing when confronted. Across Ohio, strange lights appear where the land remembers. And nowhere does the land remember more than the ridge of the Ancient Serpent. For generations, people traveling through Ohio's back roads, hollows, and forgotten valleys have seen lights that should not exist. Lights with no source, lights with no sound, lights that move as if they are alive. They appear on lonely roads where the asphalt turns black under the night sky, hovering just above the ground like a lantern carried by someone you cannot see. They drift through forest ravines in Hocking Hills, pale blue, amber, or white, slipping between the trees as if following paths older than the roads themselves. They pace travelers along railroad lines in Findlay, keeping perfect speed, then vanish the moment someone dares to approach. And on Oxford-Milford Road, a single headlight materializes after a ritual of 3 flashes, a light that races toward you, then disappears without a sound, leaving only the echo of a story that has been told for nearly a century. These lights behave with intention. They approach, they retreat, they pause, they respond, they vanish. They are not random. They are not accidental. They are part of a tradition, a pattern, a phenomenon woven into the folklore of Ohio. And tonight, we follow that tradition to a place where the lights do something stranger. A place where they move across the body of an ancient effigy that has been sacred ground since 1000 BC. Long before modern sightings, long before the 2014 Triad lights, Ohio newspapers were already documenting strange phenomena on this ridge. In 1887, the Plain Dealer described Serpent Mound as a place where messages from the past are written in the earth. Visitors reported unusual glows drifting over the coils at dusk, lights that seemed to rise from the ground itself. In 1917, travel columns encouraged families to visit the mound, calling it one of Ohio's most curious wonders, a place where the ancient and the unexplained lived side by side. And by the mid-20th century, Serpent Mound had become part of Ohio's educational identity. A 1950s classroom insert featured a crisp aerial photograph of the effigy, captioned simply, "Great Serpent Mound, the largest effigy mound in the world." Students were asked to cut out the image and write stories inspired by it, proof that the serpent had entered not just archaeology but imagination. These articles show a pattern. Serpent Mound was not forgotten. It was studied. It drew tourists. It entered classrooms. It became part of how Ohio teaches its own past. And beneath all of that, beneath the tourism, the research, the school lessons, is the deeper truth. This ridge has been sacred ground since at least 1000 BC. Generations of people have walked this place, looked out over the crater, and felt something watching back. Long before the effigy was shaped, long before the solstice alignments were carved into the earth, the people of this land told stories of a great serpent who ruled the world below, a realm beneath the earth, beneath the rivers, beneath the lakes. To the Shawnee, this serpent was not a symbol. It was a being, ancient, powerful, and aware. They called him Misi Kinepiqua, the great snake, a guardian of water, caves, and the deep places where spirits move. In Shawnee stories, the Great Serpent could rise from the ground in moments of danger or transformation. He could swallow the sun during an eclipse. He could coil around the world itself, marking the boundary between the living and the spirit realm. And on this ridge, the serpent's body was laid out in 7 great curves. Shawnee teachings say these curves are the 7 gates, steps on a spiritual journey toward clarity, healing, and enlightenment. Those who walked the serpent's back were said to confront something at each gate: fear, memory, grief, desire, identity, purpose, and finally, the stripping away of everything except the spirit. When they reached the head, they reached a place of transformation. This ridge has carried those stories for more than 3,000 years. Archaeologists have found Adena and Hopewell ceremonial activity here dating back to 1000 BC. Generations came to this place to pray, to watch the sky, to bury their dead, and to speak to the powers beneath the earth. Serpent Mound is not just an effigy. It is a cosmological map, a spiritual path, a guardian, a memory carved into the land. And the lights that appear here today move across a landscape shaped by myth, ceremony, and belief. Beneath the serpent's coils lies something even older than the stories: a wound in the earth itself. Serpent Mound sits on the rim of a prehistoric impact crater, a 4-mile-wide circle of shattered bedrock created by a cataclysm more than 300 million years ago. When the meteor struck, it blew apart 7 cubic miles of stone. The central region was thrust upward more than 1,000 feet, while the outer rim collapsed downward, forming a perfect ring. Even today, the land bears the scars of that event. Geologists have measured magnetic distortions, gravitational anomalies, and fault lines that twist through the bedrock like ancient fractures. But long before geologists arrived, the people of this land already knew that something powerful lived beneath this ridge. To the Shawnee, the Great Serpent ruled the world below, a realm of water, stone, and spirit. A realm that breathed through caves, springs, and deep places in the earth. And here, at Serpent Mound, the ground itself rises and falls as if something enormous once moved beneath it. The crater's uplifted dome forms the serpent's headland. Its collapsed rim shapes the coils. Its fractured bedrock creates the tunnels and fissures that run beneath the effigy like veins. They placed the serpent directly on the crater's rim, as if acknowledging a force beneath the ground and giving it a shape that could be seen from the sky. Science tells us the crater creates magnetic and electrical conditions that can produce plasma lights under the right circumstances. Indigenous cosmology tells us the serpent is a guardian of the underworld, and together they tell a single story. This ridge is a place where the earth remembers its own power. Serpent Mound has survived for more than 1,000 years because it was engineered with intention. The builders shaped the ridge down to bedrock, then packed layers of clay, stone, and soil to create a foundation that wouldn't sink or wash away. The mound sits on the uplifted rim of an ancient impact crater, a high, dry ridge with natural drainage that keeps the earth stable. And for centuries, vegetation has protected the serpent's curves, binding the soil and preventing erosion. Serpent Mound endures because it was built on solid ground, shaped with care, and preserved by both nature and generations who honored this place. Above the crater, above the serpent's coils, the sky tells its own story. For the people who built this effigy, the heavens were not distant. They were alive, a realm of signs, cycles, and beings that moved with purpose. And just as the Great Serpent ruled the world below, another serpent ruled the sky. The builders aligned the serpent's head to the summer solstice sunset, the longest day of the year, the moment when the sun reaches its farthest point before beginning its slow return toward winter. They shaped the coils to mark the equinox sunrise, the winter solstice sunrise, and the long rhythm of the moon's 18.6-year cycle. These alignments were not accidental. They were deliberate, precise, and cosmological. Indigenous stories speak of serpents who swallow the sun during eclipses, who coil around the world, who move between realms of sky and earth. And here, on this ridge, the effigy mirrors those stories, a serpent carved into the land, watching the sky as the sky watches back. Some researchers believe the effigy echoes the constellation Draco, the celestial serpent that winds across the northern sky. Its ancient pole star, Thuban, once sat near the center of the serpent's coils. Others point to the year 1054, when a supernova lit the sky so brightly that it was visible in the daytime. Still others look to 1066, when Halley's comet blazed across the heavens like a fiery serpent. Whatever the inspiration, the effigy is a map of the sky, a calendar, a compass, a cosmological diagram laid across the uplifted rim of a crater that once shook the earth. And when lights appear here today, they move across a landscape shaped by myth, charged by geology, and aligned to the heavens. In 2014, 3 orange lights appeared over the serpent. They expanded, contracted, and moved along the effigy's body, tracking the serpent's shape with uncanny precision. A buzzing electrical hum filled the air. The smell of burned air drifted across the ridge. When a witness cried out, the lights stopped, as if listening. Then they rose straight into the sky and vanished. Whatever they were, they behaved with intention. On a warm night in 2014, 3 orange lights appeared over the serpent, not drifting, not wandering, but moving with purpose. They rose from the darkness beyond the headland, glowing like embers held in a giant hand. At first, they hovered in place, pulsing softly, as if testing the air above the ridge. Then they began to move. They expanded, contracted, and drifted along the serpent's body, following the exact curve of the effigy as though tracing a path laid out 1,000 years ago. This was not random motion. It was deliberate, measured, aware. The Shawnee speak of Imsi Kinepikwa, the Great Serpent, a being who rises from the earth during moments of danger, transformation, or cosmic significance. They say the serpent can swallow the sun, coil around the world, and move between realms of sky and stone. And here, on this ridge, the lights moved as if answering a presence beneath the ground, a presence carved into the land in 7 great curves, each one a gate of spiritual transformation. When the lights paused mid-air, it felt like the serpent was listening. Beneath the effigy lies the uplifted rim of a prehistoric impact crater, a place where magnetic fields twist, where electrical charges build, where plasma lights can form under the right conditions. The lights pulsed with a faint electrical hum, and the air carried the sharp scent of burned ozone, the signature of ionized atmosphere. They rose from a landscape shaped by cataclysm, charged by geology, and fractured by ancient force. The crater is a wound in the earth, and sometimes wounds remember. The effigy is aligned to the summer solstice sunset, the equinox sunrise, the lunar metonic cycle, and the celestial serpent Draco. It is a map of the heavens laid across the land. And on that night in 2014, the lights moved in ways that echoed the sky, rising, pausing, ascending, as though following a pattern older than memory. When they finally shot straight upward, they moved like stars returning to their places. Indigenous cosmology tells us the serpent moves between worlds. Geology tells us the crater can produce atmospheric lights. Astronomy tells us the effigy is aligned to cosmic events. And the 2014 triad lights behaved like a bridge between all three: earth, sky, and spirit. They appeared where the serpent's head meets the crater's rim. They followed the serpent's body. They rose into the sky. On this ridge, the ancient serpent watches the heavens. The crater hums beneath it, and sometimes the sky answers. On this ridge, three worlds meet. The indigenous world, where the great serpent moves beneath the earth, guarding the deep places and guiding those who walk the seven gates. The geological world, where a prehistoric impact crater still hums with ancient force, charging the land with magnetic and electrical energy that shapes the air itself. And the celestial world, where the serpent watches the sky, aligned to solstice sunsets, lunar cycles, and the great serpents of the heavens. These three layers, earth, sky, and spirit, are not separate here. They overlap. They speak to each other. They create a landscape where the ordinary rules do not apply. And when the triad lights appeared in 2014, they moved exactly where those layers converge. They rose from the crater's rim, the wound in the earth. They followed the serpent's body, the path of ceremony and transformation, and they ascended into the sky, the realm of cosmic serpents and ancient alignments. Their behavior wasn't random, it wasn't accidental, it was patterned, purposeful, connected. The lights approached. They paused, they listened, they followed the serpent's curve, and then they rose, as if completing a journey that began long before any of us were here. Across Ohio, ghost lights appear where the land remembers. But here, at Serpent Mound, the land remembers everything: the stories, the ceremonies, the cataclysm, the sky. And sometimes, the lights return to trace those memories. This is Serpent Mound. This is the ancient serpent, and these are the lights that move across its body. On this ridge, three worlds meet. The indigenous world, where the great serpent moves beneath the earth, guiding those who walk the seven gates and guarding the deep places of stone and water. The geological world, where a prehistoric impact crater still hums with ancient force, charging the land with magnetic and electrical energy that shapes the air itself. And the celestial world, where the serpent watches the sky, aligned to solstice sunsets, lunar cycles, and the great serpents of the heavens. These three layers, earth, sky, and spirit, are not separate here. They overlap. They speak to each other. They create a landscape where the ordinary rules do not apply. And when the triad lights appeared in 2014, they moved exactly where those layers converge. They rose from the crater's rim, the wound in the earth. They followed the serpent's body, the path of ceremony and transformation, and they ascended into the sky, the realm of cosmic serpents and ancient alignments. Their behavior wasn't random. It wasn't accidental. It was patterned, purposeful, connected. Across Ohio, ghost lights appear where the land remembers. But here, at Serpent Mound, the land remembers everything: the stories, the ceremonies, the cataclysm, the sky. And sometimes, the lights return to trace those memories. This is Serpent Mound. This is the ancient serpent. And these are the lights that move across its body. Thank you for spending time with Road of Echoes. Your support means more than you know. If this story resonated with you, please like and share so others can discover it too.